guys, and welcome to oldschoolhaunter for the promised behind the scenes technique video of my animated witch cauldron. In this video I will show you all the techniques and the controls of the witch cauldron so you can rebuild it or use it in your own projects. This video is supported by a German Halloween shop called Geistermeile, your Halloween online store with a great selection of ready-to-use animatronics, Halloween decoration and lots of stuff for Halloween crafters like me. If you get into this video series at this point, I highly recommend you watching parts 1 through 3 of this video series. I provide all the information and the links about what I mentioned down in the description of this video, and please check your subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming updates. You see the witch cauldron behind me, it is still assembled, but that will change in a minute. So curtains up for the great behind the scenes of my animated witch cauldron. Alright, here we have the top of the cauldron, and I already removed the magic foam dome so you can see the insides, and I'm starting from the top and then we go down. And yeah, let's start with the attachment of the spider legs. Here we have those pipes, and it's a 40mm diameter and 45-degree angle of the elbow, and I drill a hole through it, add a screw, and this way I attach it to this bracket here, and then I can simply move this pipe. And in addition to the first version in my last video, I added an additional spring here, and this spring is used to bring the pipe back to its starting position, because I had some issues when I turn up the legs. You know, the pipes won't come back to its starting position. So this spring ensures it will get back every time. So at the end of the pipe you have a fishing line, and this goes down into the cauldron. Alright, here we have the view inside the cauldron. This is the bottom of the cauldron, and as an orientation, this is the pipe I showed you. And here we have the fishing line attached to the pipe, going down, wrapped around this rope roll here, and then it's attached to the wiper motor. And I use 2 wiper motors here because it gives me the ability to control each side of the legs separately. It's a little overkill at this point. 1 wiper motor probably should do the job, but I wanted to be able to control both sides separately. Each wiper motor has this small arm here, and you have a movement of 1.5 centimeter to each side, so 3 centimeter in total. So this leg or this pipe moves up and down 3 centimeters in total. And to be able to attach the fishing line to the motor, I use a washer here, drill 4 holes on each wiper motor, and then I put the fishing line through, make a knot, and then I'm done. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And you see the wires of the wiper motors go through this hole down to the bottom of the cauldron. But before we go down, I will show you another small detail here, and this is the mechanics for the head. So let me turn the camera. And the head of the spider is controlled using this pneumatic cylinder here. And this pneumatic cylinder it's a small one, so it has a length of 10 centimeters here, and using these screws here you can control the pressure and so the speed of the pneumatic cylinder going in and out. And those pipes, those tubes here, are attached to the cylinder and also going down through a hole to the bottom of the cauldron. So let's turn this thing around and let me show the brain of the cauldron. So here we have the bottom view of the cauldron. And here we have the brain of the cauldron. Yeah, it might look like a mess. I give my best to do a good wiring, I hope. At least I hope so. But to give you an orientation, here we have the tubes coming from the pneumatic cylinder. Here we have the wires coming from the wiper motors. And this screw has to be ignored. I know it's a little bit long, I have to use a shorter one here, but for the moment, please ignore it. So let's start with the pneumatics first, because this is the easier part. Here we come from the pneumatic cylinder and go to the inputs, to the outputs of this solenoid. And down here we have the inputs, and here the tube is attached, which goes to the compressor. The solenoid is attached using this wire to channel 1 of this controller here, and I will talk about this controller in a minute. The wiper motors are controlled by these cables here, and I put them together using those vacuums because it's easier for me to attach a single cable down to this screw terminals here. Put some light here to the screw terminals of this PWM speed controller, and this controller is used to control the speed of the motors, of the wiper motors, and so the speed of the legs. And from here we have the minus going to the power supply, and plus is going to this relay, and then to the power supply 2 here. And this relay is used to decouple the power from the controller, because I was a little bit worried about burning this thing down, because a single wiper motor can draw about 2.5 or 3 amps. So I put this relay in between to decouple those things. The relay itself is attached to the controller using this cable here. This cable is used to power the relay, and then we have a trigger cable from this output here going to the relay, and this trigger turns the relay on and off. And please don't use a yellow-green wire on your projects. I will change the wire later on. So please don't use it, it's normally used for ground. So much about the wiring. Let's talk about this controller here. And this controller is an aamonduo created by Purgetory props, and it was given to me by geistermeile.de to create this project here, and together with this motion detector. And this motion detector is used to trigger the aamonduo. Yeah, and this controller is incredible, I think. So we have 2.5 channels, which sounds strange, I think. But we have 2 channels here, channel 1 and channel 2, which can be programmed with animation sequences. And we have this third output, and this third output here is switched on when the animation starts and is switched off when the animation finished. So it was perfectly for my use case here to start the wiper motors with the beginning of the sequence and turn the wiper motors off at the end of the sequence. And to program the head of the spider, so the pneumatic cylinder, I simply have to push the channel 1 button in the order I want it, and can record the sequence on this controller here. So I don't need to learn a programming language or something like that. Simply push the buttons, record the sequence, and then you can play it afterwards, and you are done. Yeah, the controller is triggered using the motion detector here, but you can also attach a push button to trigger the controller. Then the animation starts, sequence runs, and at the end it turns off again. Down here everything runs with 12 volts. So you don't have 110 or 220 volts down here. And I will put a fuse in between the power supply and those cables here to be secure, so you know the fuse will pop first before something burns down here. At least I hope so, it works. Yeah, that's pretty much it about the wiring and the brain of the Cauldron. Yeah, I hope I could give you enough insights. One thing I forgot to mention, the only downside of this 2.5 channel controller is you can't do sounds here. There's a bigger brother on the market which supports up to 4 channels, and this bigger brother supports sounds too, but I didn't need sounds here, so this smaller 2.5 channel controller did the job for me. That was the big behind the scenes of my animated witch cauldron. I hope I could explain the things in a way that you can reuse them in your own projects, and I could clarify some questions. By using the controller aamonduo, which was provided by Geistermeiler, I saved a lot of time, because I could easily program the animation sequences and control the other relays, and that all without the need for programming skills. All the other things belong to the topic reading into electrical engineering, because without some basic knowledge of circuits and relays and so on, you can't start such a project, unfortunately. I have to admit, it takes a little bit more effort to create such a controller, and especially beginners can quickly have a question mark in their faces, but we all start small, you just have to dare to do it. For me it was the first time where I used pneumatics in a project, and I'm glad it worked very well, even if the effect I achieved is not a groundbreaking thing at this point. Please use the comments if there's something that is unclear or you want to know more details, because we reached the end of this video. If you liked the video, if you found it helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and be sure you are subscribed to my channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming updates. So for today I say thanks for watching, stay healthy and happy Halloween!